Hey guys, welcome back to Ace Recaps. Today I'm going to be explaining a 2018 Hindi fantasy horror short story titled, Ghoul. Nida Rahim is an interrogation officer working for the government of India. They live in a town that is plagued by terrorists. The military drags men from their homes who are suspected terrorists and burn all books that teach the ways of Islam. Nida's father is seen dropping her off at camp. He is a lecturer that also preaches about the ways of Islam in his classes. Just as the military stops their car, he confesses to Nida that he's brought his books and teachings with him which would land them in some deep shit. Just as the military are about to search the vehicle, Nida pulls out her badge and they let them go. This incident deeply affected Nida as she's a servant of the country and her father spreads false news to young kids so they join the revolution. That night, Nida decides to turn in her father to the officials so that they would threaten him and set him straight. A month passes by and we watch as a team of military men invade an abandoned building. They capture the head of the terrorist organization, Ali Saeed. Right before they arrest him, Ali Saeed is seen whispering something into the captain's ear. In the next scene we watch as Nida is promoted early for her bravery and sacrifice. She is blindfolded and taken to an abandoned nuclear shelter in the secluded jungles of India. This place is the secret hideout of the military where they interrogate the terrorists behind the book. The prisoners here have no rights and are tortured like there's no tomorrow to get the information they need. Once she reaches the secret camp, she is shown around the base by the other officers. One officer named Laxmi doubts the intentions of Nida as she is a Muslim and the daughter of a terrorist. She is then introduced to the head of the operation, Colonel Sunil Dakunha. He seems very appreciative of her coming there and tells her that Ali Saeed, the head of the terrorist organization, is captured and being transferred to the camp as they speak. Nida is then excused and she does a Google search about the mighty terrorist. What she finds about him scares her to her bones. He is the most ruthless of them all and is responsible for killing thousands of innocent people. That evening, as the soldiers prepare for the arrival of the terrorist, Laxmi gives the soldiers their tasks. She is also seen doubting the colonel due to his excessive drinking the past few days. When Ali Saeed finally arrives, the dogs go silent and fear fills the air. He is then dragged through the camp and the prisoners start crying to let him go. They tie him up using some metal chains and start torturing him to give up his plans. Unfortunately for them, they're not able to break him and he does not utter a word. The colonel orders the soldiers to rest for the night and play loud music in the torture chamber so that the prisoner doesn't fall asleep. That night, as they all sleep, the prisoners and soldiers have terrifying nightmares. Nida dreams about killing her father and she wakes up in a sweaty haze. The next morning everyone seems distorted due to the nightmares and fear that the new prisoner had something to do with it. They decide to put all feelings aside and continue with the interrogation. Two of the best interrogators pull out Ali Saeed from a box while Nida watches. Just as they are about to start torturing him, everyone hears a baby crying through the walls. This terrifies the living soul out of everyone. Ali Saeed then whispers something in the ears of the interrogators and they start fighting each other. Nida screams for help at the camera, but the people watching cannot hear her as the screen froze and a monster shows up on the screen. Nida tries to stop them from killing each other, but she's no match for two men. Just as the others enter, one of them gets stabbed and dies. Confused by what just happened, the others grab him and imprison him for killing a fellow soldier. Colonel Sunil, agitated by the whole situation, decides to take matters into his own hands. He starts questioning the terrorist, but he just sits still with no sense of resentment. He then suddenly starts talking in the voice of the colonel's wife and child. By using his own guilt against him, he starts blaming the colonel for the destruction of their marriage. He manages to get into the colonel's head, which makes him really mad. Colonel Sunil then takes the electrocution cables and attaches it to his mouth. He turns on the machine and does not stop until the power at the camp goes out and the terrorist dies. Nida, watching the surveillance footage, decides to go and check up on both of them. As she enters the torture chamber, she spots Ali Saeed lying dead on the floor. She tries to revive him but fails. Just as she's about to leave the chamber, the door locks. When she turns around, the dead body which was just on the floor has disappeared. She looks around the room and spots him at the corner. When she goes closer, the man turns into a demon and attacks her. She screams for her life, but to no avail. She falls to the ground, but luckily finds a blowtorch. She uses it to try and burn the demon. Just then the others arrive and see that Ali Saeed is still on the floor, but he's breathing now. So they lock him back up on his chair. As they leave him to get Nida some help, we watch as the demon smiles, suggesting that it was his plan all along to get caught. The colonel realizes that there is something fishy going on, so he calls for the most ruthless interrogator of them all. There is no human that this soldier hasn't broken, so the soldiers have full faith in him. As he enters, the prisoners in the cells seem to be terrified of this ruthless man, fearing that their leader is going to be killed at his hands. Nida keeps trying to tell the others that the terrorist is not human, but nobody seems to believe her. They tell her to stop spreading such nonsense and to let the man do his job. So Nida decides to take matters into her own hands. She approaches one of the prisoners and questions him about what's really going on. The prisoner tells her that she's right about him. He tells her that the man in there is not Ali Saeed but a ghoul or a demon which has been summoned by someone. The ghoul uses a person's own guilt against his prey and kills them but leaves the innocent alone. The demon has the ability to shapeshift once it has eaten the meat of its latest victim. The colonel then gets a call that the body of Ali Saeed has been found and the prisoner with them is not him as the DNA has been confirmed. Suddenly Nida hears a terrifying roar coming from the torture chamber. The ghoul managed to free itself and attack the soldier. When she's about to go have a look, the soldier walks out, so she hides in one of the cells. He then goes around unlocking all the prisoners. As he goes into one of the cells, Nida decides to go have a look in the torture chamber. What she sees scares her to her bones. She sees the body of the soldier ripped to pieces and the chamber drenched in blood. The demon walks out of the cell and sees her. A terrified Nida alerts the rest of the team by setting off the alarm. She runs away from the demon but he just slowly follows her. She runs up the stairs and cries for help as the door seems to be locked. Just as the demon is about to grab her, the other soldiers manage to get the door open and save Nida. Nida warns them about what happened, but again nobody seems to believe her as the staircase is empty. The whole team decides to go back down and when they see that Ali Saeed is missing, the blame falls on Nida. They think that she's a terrorist as well and has joined hands with Ali Saeed and killed the soldier. The colonel tries to defend her, but unfortunately the whole team turns against him as well. They lock Nida in with the other prisoners and hold the colonel at gunpoint. The prisoners decide to attack Nida, but she manages to hold one of them hostage. One of the prisoners tells her that the man is innocent and that he was just a waiter caught by being at the wrong place at the wrong time. The poor man lost his voice as the soldiers brought in his wife and child and killed them in front of him as he did not give the answers that they wanted. She then realizes that place was not just an interrogation center, but a place where these monsters bring even suspected terrorists, kill them and cremate them. She spots all the leftovers of the dead people in the cremation room. It strikes her that her father was also brought there and mercilessly murdered, even after the army promised her that they'd just set him straight and let him go. The prisoners then block the doors to escape the wrath of the unlawful soldiers, but suddenly realizes that one of the prisoners is actually the ghoul. The ghoul then shows itself and starts killing the prisoners one by one. Nida and the innocent man try to escape through the chimney of the cremator. Just as Nida is about to escape, the ghoul gets a hold of her. She tries her best to pull herself out, but unfortunately the ghoul pulls her down. A few moments later, Nida escapes the demon and claims that it just bit her leg but she managed to escape it. When the soldiers enter the room, they spot Nida on the floor claiming the same thing. We now have no idea who the real Nida is. Lakshmi, the worst shrew of them all, starts beating the crap out of Nida. Just as she's about to kill her, Nida bites off her ear and chokes her until she passes out. The colonel escapes the grasp of the soldiers as one of them runs away in fear. Nida then questions the colonel as to what is really going on there. The colonel tells her that the ghoul is here because her father summoned it. Just as they were about to kill him, he cut himself and chanted the spell to bring about the ultimate destruction of the camp. Lakshmi wakes up and just as she's about to stab Nida, the colonel shoots her and saves Nida's life. The both of them then go around the base looking for the demon to finish the job once and for all. They reach the armory and load up with weapons. When they get to the colonel's office, it looks like all the remaining soldiers are there pointing their guns at each other because nobody really knows who's who. Nida shoots off the light, and the demon starts attacking all the soldiers. She did this for revenge because the soldiers killed her father. Just as the demon is about to claim the colonel, Nida escapes through the window along with the innocent prisoner. The colonel tries to shoot the demon but it looks like he's out of bullets. So he pulls out his grenade and kills the demon. When Nida gets out into the open, the whole camp is surrounded by soldiers who placed the camp under lockdown. Suddenly the colonel manages to step out of the camp unharmed by the explosion. Nida, fearing that the man is actually the demon, shoots him right on his temple. All the soldiers witness this and place her under arrest for killing the colonel. As days pass by, the army officials threaten her with life imprisonment for killing a hero. Fearing that the corruption within the system will never end, Nida is finally seen sneaking in a blade into her jail cell and summoning the demon herself. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like the video please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.